welcome to the Youth Talk with me, Bridget Parati. Well, as we all know that we have an increasing rate of unemployment in South Africa amongst our youth, we have people like Mr. Hangwani, who is the founder of SAMSA, who is going to be telling us more about his company and what he does for the youth out there, for them to actually go out there and become entrepreneurs. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Hangwani.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about SAMSA. If you can tell me in full what it stands for and what this company is all about.
SAMSA stands for South African Mentoring and Motivational Speaking Association. What we do at SAMSA, we do career guidance, motivational talks, tutoring and mentoring. We also do emotional intelligence and conflict management.
As the founder, what inspired you to start this company?
Actually, when I was looking around, I saw that there are a lot of youth that are resorting to drugs, alcohol abuse and rape and other antisocial behavior. Then I decided to go and look for something that can assist them to realize the potential that they have. Then I found out that what is missing actually is motivation. They need role models. They need inspiration to can realize the potential that they have. Then that's why I started the company, so that I can address those social issues.
It's a great idea, but did you face any challenges? What were the challenges that you faced before you started this whole company?
The main challenge was funding. You know, when you start a project like this, if you don't have money, it can be just a dream. Then when you wake up, it's gone. Then the other thing was marketing, also to make research, how to access those kids, how to get to them, and how to have the continuous support for them. Those are the challenges that I was experiencing. And also to have the well-trained people who will deal with them, because if you're talking about tutoring, you need somebody who's good at that specific content that you're going to deal with.
You are working as a teacher and you're managing this company. How are you managing both?
It's not really a challenge. Actually, I'm patient-driven, and at school I work with students. Then I do lots of talkings and talks to them. Then I feel that I'm just extending my working hours when I'm working with them. Then I don't find it being more challenge to me.
Because you have a 9 to 5. It's a job, a 9 to 5. You have to attend to it every day. At the same time, you still have to manage this company. Don't you face any difficulties whatsoever pertaining time?
I do, but I do have a committee that we work together. We share responsibilities and duties. Then they also assist me whenever I'm not going to be there. Then they do perform certain tasks. Then it makes their job easier.
It's true that a lot of young people out there actually lack motivation. But with companies such as SAMSA, a lot of people out there can be motivated to actually go out there and start their own businesses. In a way, they'll be employing other people, and by doing such, we'll be eradicating the high rate of unemployment in South Africa. Stay tuned, we'll be back after this ad break.
I express you my love when you and I still young. You said, wait, I'm still young. Life is a long journey. East and west travel, south and north transit. Daily talking toll on us. East you went and west I took. In those long years, in paining to meet you. I was right in the hope of meet you some other times. Where east and west are meet. Lower Hutton, not the sight of your seat. Breath, voices, footstep and not. Death has no audience. It's sheathed, it is now. May I stay here? It is not so long. I ever made a preparation in God's heaven. Very soon, you and I shall sing our arms. I love you, my love. Loving you has made me happy million times, and if I leave you, I will find million reason and question to love you forever and ever. I love you every day, today more than yesterday, and tomorrow will be more than today. Come, my love, let us prove we in the dance spot of love, because time it will not be ours forever. Sun that set may rise again, but if once we know this love, perpetually then will be the darkness. Yes, come, my love, let us live forever to be. Yes, and love, and I really love you.
Welcome back. You're still tuned into the Youth Talk Show, and we're still here in studio with Mr. Hangwani, who's telling us more about motivational speaking and his company, SAMSA. Mr. Hangwani, I would like to start my own company as well, but you know how it is, sometimes you don't even know where to start, you don't know where to go, you don't know who to talk to about such things. And I'm sure that a lot of people out there are willing to start their own companies, to become entrepreneurs and stuff, but they don't know where to go. What would you advise them to do?
First, what you have to do is to find out what you're going to sell to the people, the goods and services that you're going to provide. Is it a need or a want? How is the competition out there? Who's going to fund your goods and services? Then, if you are able to do that research, then you can go and start your own company.
So what you mean is that it's more about research?
Yes, research is very important because most of the people, they keep on duplicating companies. You find that somebody next to you is still selling the same product that you are selling. Then you also confuse the consumers because they don't know where to go to. But if you come with something brilliant, different and unique, then people will be convinced that even though we used to go to this shop and get this particular product, but this one has got some advancement, then we better go to the next one. And usually when people think of business, they don't take into consideration the risk analysis, that if maybe I call people to come and invest in my company, what will be the benefit in the long run? And people just think spontaneously and say, if I start a business tomorrow, I'll be rich. There are certain stages that you're going to go through. At times you might even go bankrupt. And again, to have a strong team, you need to have people who really know what they're doing, and those people need to be well trained.
Going back to the part where you're saying that a lot of people get confused about what to buy. We see this even when we walk out the streets. I mean, we have people who are selling out there, the vendors. They're entrepreneurs. I mean, someone is selling the same thing that someone else is selling. It becomes a problem for everyone. And I actually like the fact that you're talking about that people have to take their risk analysis, because most people just think that when you start a business, boom, you reach. They don't think about the future or what's going to happen in the long run. So tell me more. You spoke about finances, that during the time when you were looking for funding, you had a lot of problems in sourcing funding. What advice would you give people out there who want to actually go about getting funding?
What you have to do, you have to draw a business plan. Then a business plan is the summary of your business. What you're going to sell, how are you intending to run your business. Then you can take that thing to the National Youth Development. They can assist you with funding. Or you can even go to the private companies, the corporate world. Then you present your business plan that these are the things that you want to do and they are going to benefit in this way. Then after doing that presentation, if they are convinced about the things that you're going to do, then they can be able to fund you. And again, it depends, especially if you are involved in non-profit, you have more support from private companies because they do community outreach programs. Then they can use you as the stadium so that they can reach out to the people.
Since you spoke about motivation for people who want to start their own businesses, people want to become entrepreneurs and stuff, do you actually offer help for people who are actually planning on starting their own businesses?
We do offer help, but it's not the extensive training because the company is still new. We're still learning also. We do also take some business classes wherein we learn how to run business, how to manage certain roles, because it's really difficult. Maybe let's say, for example, they say you are a director of marketing, and if you don't have knowledge about marketing, then you're going to just mess up things around. People who need assistance with business, we just give them a short course. It's a 3-week course. We train them basic understanding of business, that this is how you must run a business, these are the requirements, and until you meet these requirements, then you cannot have a business.
You mentioned tutoring and mentorship. What projects are you busy with at the moment?
At the moment, we're doing school visits, we're doing career guidance, mentoring and tutoring. But we're busy with tutoring and mentoring on Saturdays, wherein we go call students, they sit in groups of 4, then they will have a tutor, then the person will assist them with whatever activities they have. They bring homeworks from their schools and also assignments, then we go through with them.
So in a way, what you're telling me is that you actually help them in terms for those people who want to study like medicine, teaching different things, you actually help them in terms of which varsities to go to and what they have to do in order to be taken, exempted, wherever they want to go?
Yes, because what we do is the tutors that we have are senior university students. For example, if somebody needs assistance with biology or life sciences, then we'll take a medical student, then we'll come and tutor that person, and at the end we'll advise, we'll do career guidance to them that if you want to become a doctor, you want to become a physician and so on, then these are the subjects that you need to take, and this is the university that can best offer that degree. And they even elaborate on what you are likely to do every day. Then let's say you're studying education. Most people believe that when you do education, you end up being a teacher.
Yeah.
You can still work at the Department of Education, you can still become a principal, you can become a curriculum advisor. There are lots of things that are there, but then we are there to tell them that in specific degree, there are lots of things that you can do in between.
Since you're doing so much for the community, where do you want to see yourself and your company in a few years to come?
In the next 3 years, I want to see this company being big, being able to provide bursaries to students, also do the community projects wherein we give food to those ones that are in need, clothing. You understand that we uplift the community where we come from. We are very aware of the high rate of unemployment and the poverty that exists in the rural areas and so on. Not that we are focused on rural areas, we go everywhere, rural and urban. But then the main target is there are lots of kids in rural areas with potential, but then it's difficult for them to come out from their environment because they're so focused in the environment that if I'm from a poor environment, I cannot make it through. Then we are just there to give them a helping hand.
Can you say any last words to the youth out there? Because I'm sure most of them are watching right now. Can you just say any words to motivate them?
I can tell them that let us become creative. Let us not rely on government. Like Jeff Kennedy, the president of America, once said, expect not what the country will do for you, but what you will for the country. Then we cannot sit and say that the government will give me money, the government will do so and so on. There are lots of bursaries that are out there, but what they need people who are dedicated, people who take time on their studies. And I'm very aware that we gifted differently. Some are good, they're talented, but you can still use your talent as a career, you understand? But then as long as you do have education as your backup, because some people are being robbed because they can't even read the contract. Some people, they can't go for interviews because of the poor language of communication. Then if we can address those things through education, not necessarily that we all have to go to university, we need to all have PhDs and so on, no. Whatever route you are taking, make sure that you do have that sense of education, that you're able to communicate with people, have to say relevant things at the relevant time.
Like you heard for yourselves, education is the most powerful tool that you can ever use to be successful. Like Nelson Mandela said, education is the greatest engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm workers can become the president of a great nation. It is through education that we all can actually survive out there. Stay tuned, because after the break we have the director of SAMSA, Mr. Mulalo.
Pouring over the window, and I see Africa coming towards me, floating my
Welcome back. You're still tuning into the Youth Talk. Well, like I said today, that we're speaking more about SAMSA, a company that works on motivating young people. Right now, we have Mr. Molado, who is the director of SAMSA. Let's hear what he has to say about the company. Welcome, Mr. Molado.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
I take it that you are the director. What do you do as a director of SAMSA?
Well, I actually ensure the day-to-day running of the company, and then also make sure that all the programs that we have are actually delivered according to the vision and the mission of the company, and then also coordinate, our partners and the actual target market that we actually deal with on a day-to-day basis.
You tackle motivation and mentorship, right? Why motivation and mentorship?
Well, I would say human beings are not machinery. They're not mechanical. So people do go through different phases in life. And if you check our socio-economic status in South Africa, we actually have a high unemployment rate. And then we've got massive communities that are living in poverty. So the main aim to actually come up with a motivation is to pull those people from the streets, and then also to pull them from different perceptions and ideologies that are formed by communities that actually discourages them in order to get somewhere in life. So we come in as SAMSA by actually exposing them to different avenues that can actually inspire them to start something in their lives. We all know that poverty makes people angry. Unemployment makes them angry. So as SAMSA, we actually tell them or convey a message that it's possible, it's doable, and we actually expose them to such resources in order for them to make it in their lives.
Since you're doing so much for the community, how is the community helping you in a way?
Well, the main aim when we started the organization was not to be helped by the community, but it was actually to help the community. So I would say the biggest advantage that the community give to us is just to make themselves available so that we can actually convey message of motivation and messages of programs of mentoring them to ensure that they actually end up getting to better stages in their lives, and they get like somewhere in life, end up something at the end of the day.
Mr. Hangwani mentioned that it takes talent for some people to make it in life, and it takes career for other people. What's your take on that?
Well, I think as a country, South Africa, we need to come to realization that some kids are academically gifted, and then some are not necessarily academic gifted. They can get maybe to a certain level, academically, and then as they go further, it becomes a challenge, for them. There's kids that are talented that we actually deal with on a day-to-day basis, ensure that we mentor them and we channel them through to the correct, avenues. I'll give you an example. If somebody is talented in music, they just have a natural talent, but when it comes to academics, they're not as good, as somebody who would pass with the straight A's and all that. So we actually direct them to right, institutions such as music schools, so that they can go learn more about the equipments and then get, proper qualifications, so that they can actually commercialize such a talent in order to benefit for them. When it comes to those that are maybe academically gifted, we have got programs where we will inspire them, motivate them, and then guide them throughout the process so that they can end up following the right careers, and then give back to the community and make our country grow economically and also socially. In a way, we would also be eradicating unemployment, levels of illiteracy, and then also ensure that we actually have a community that is self-sustained financially, and educational wise. Yeah.
It's such a good thing that you mentioned that you actually motivate even those that want to get into the art department.
Yes.
But it takes me back to when I was growing up. When I had to choose a career, my dad wasn't up for me doing media, for me doing acting, because he believed that there's no future for me in such. How do you work around such problems?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a problem. I think even children's, they actually owe it to parents to explain to them and then also show them that a career is not necessarily becoming an accountant or becoming an attorney or becoming maybe a doctor. Well, a career in arts, they can actually get jobs. They can become, great film stars or directors of different shows from televisions. They can also do acting on drama series that we have in the media industry. I think if we can educate our parents more and then let them know that, talent, if it can actually be groomed, there's still money that can be made out of it. It's not necessarily waking up every day and say you're going to work and then you report 9 to 5. I think that's where a lot of people actually miss the point, that if you don't wake up in the morning and then go say you're going to work, you've got flexibility in how you work, then they think you don't have employment. So there's good money. We've got great stars that are making money out of acting. So yeah, I think if we can convey such a message, then the parent might end up, supporting the children that want to pursue a career in art.
And that also takes me back to being a girl and growing up. When you are like 15 to 18, you know how parents can be protective. My father was very protective. When it came to me attending Saturday classes, as long as they're not sponsored by my school, then I can't attend to those. It was very difficult. How's the involvement of girls nowadays? Has it changed or is it improving?
Yeah, well, recently we are also going to introduce a program where we would also deal with exposing different realities to the community, so that the parents can end up seeing that studying is important, and then also attending different development seminars or classes is also important. Well, just to answer you specifically, when it comes to girls, well, I think a lot of parents would actually be protective that maybe you might be exposing yourself to the world, and maybe they might be afraid that it will be dangerous for you to do such things. So we are going to introduce a program where we will also put forward some of the women who are making it in business and also in education. You know that recently in the news we hear of our South African lady, Mrs. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. She is actually the chair of what you call African Union, Commission. So such things, if we can put forward to the communities, and then maybe have people like her speaking on the behalf of the majority of our women who might be suffering from such a treatment, then it would also expose parents to see that, well, a girl child can still make it, and that for them to make it, they actually need to go different places and then attend seminars, attend maybe leadership developments, even Saturday schools for that matter, so that they can get to where they want to get in life.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you have any last words that you want to give out there to the viewers that are watching right now?
Maybe what I can say is that perceptions form greatest part of humanity. So if you want to succeed in life, you always have to come up with your own perception. I had one speaker one day saying a grape can actually have so many things in it, as a word, used it. And then he says if you actually cut the first two words of grape, you can get a rape. If you actually cut the first two words and the last two words, maybe you can get a rap. So it actually depends on how you perceive things. At the end of the day, you can get good things out of a bad, beginning, or maybe a humble beginning. So it's all up to you what you aspire for and the perceptions that you form. What people say about you and your background and where you are right now, it doesn't really matter. What matters most is how you react and respond to such perceptions that people make about you and what you want in your life.
You had it for yourselves. Like Mr. Hangwani and Mr. Mulalo said it, we all need education for us to make it out there, and we need to motivate ourselves for us to actually be entrepreneurs and give other people jobs. Well, catch us next week, same place, same time, and here at the Youth Talk Show. It's bye for now.
Zote zikarakatao samibara mikumbi na zikoko bijiandiva na ukonda hazo ni musari wazo na kati ya zinga vizuba ndoturani wa maduba ndita utubu zati chikokovi neni shango lishaya shama lishambiraho ndi muima waka nakakatara zinji kala Afrika chipembe nendi five